أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي، بمحمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, seeking to consult someone in one's affairs is guidance in itself, and the one who suffices himself with his own opinion endangers himself. How beautiful these words. Really, we need to write them with a golden water. قال الإمام علي عليه السلام: الاستشارة عين الهداية. الاستشارة عين الهداية، وقد خاطر من استغنى برأيه. وقد خاطر من استغنى برأيه. And how many people nowadays, they use their opinion and they stick on their opinions, and at the end they will regret. This is not good. Yes, it is good if you have somebody to ask and to find or to participate his minds, his thoughts, his ideas with yours in your affairs. Anyhow, issue number with Islamic laws, issue number 416. If a mustahada knows that before the end of the time for a prayer, before the end of the time of a prayer, her istihada will completely stop. She knows. If you ask me how she knows, because she knows herself. She knows herself. Will completely stop, or that it will stop for long enough, maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, for her to perform a prayer. Then based on obligatory precaution, she must wait and perform a prayer when her istihada has stopped. So this lady, she knows that at the end time of the salah that she will become tahr of istihada. There is no bleeding. Okay? Or either completely from istihada, or she will be tahir for 3 hours, 4 hours. So she has to wait and not to perform her salah at its prime time. She has to wait till that time. She has to wait till that time, okay, and to pray with tahara.
She was sure about that?
Yes, yes. Look, knows, look, knows. Underline the word knows. This is knowledge. This is knowledge. So if you ask how she knows, she knows herself. She knows herself.
You mean examine herself?
No, not examine herself. Because this state or this situation comes to herself many times before. Maybe she works a lot at home. Maybe she has stress. Maybe she passed through difficult times. She knows herself. Issue number 417. If after performing wudu and ghusl, the bleeding appears. After what? After ghusl or wudu, the bleeding appears to have stopped, and a mustahada knows that if she delays the prayer, her istihada will stop for long enough for her to perform wudu. After performing wudu, okay, the bleeding appears to have stopped. But after wudu, the bleeding is what? Is stopped. And a mustahada knows that if she delays the prayer, her istihada will stop for a long enough for her to perform wudu or ghusl and prayer. Then based on obligatory precaution, she must delay the prayer. She must delay the prayer until she becomes sure that there is no blood. And when her istihada completely stops, when her istihada completely stops, she must perform wudu and ghusl. Look, wudu and ghusl again, and perform the prayer. Wudu and ghusl. Furthermore, definitely after istihada, the woman should perform what? Should perform ghusl. After istihada has finished, the woman should perform ghusl.
All the types of istihada? All the types of istihada?
Yes, after completely istihada finished, she has to perform ghusl. If when the bleeding appears to have stopped, the time for a prayer is short. Look, if when the blood will stop, there is what? There is a short time will left for ada salah, not qada. After that time will be qada salah. It is not necessary for her to perform wudu and ghusl again. Why? Because there is a necessity. Because of the shortage of time. If she performs wudu and ghusl, she will what? She will lose time. She will lose what? Ada salah in time. Her salah will be qada. So what she has to do? Rather, she can perform a prayer with the wudu and ghusl that she already has. You confused? Okay.
Even the first kind of istihada, the first kind when he ended, I think he didn't want to get a ghusl.
Here in this issue generally, still we have some issues, just wait for it. When this lady, she is sure that after performing ablution or ghusl, she is sure that the blood will stop, and after the stop of bleeding, either she has long time which is enough for ghusl and wudu and the prayer, she has to perform a new wudu and ghusl and to perform her salah. Okay, this one. The other thing, if she doesn't have much time for ghusl, for wudu and ghusl, because if she performs wudu and ghusl, she will lose time. Her salah will be what? Will be qada, not ada. So, what she has to do? She has to leave the wudu and ghusl, and she has a count on the previous wudu or ghusl and to pray. Have you got that? Good. So, if when the bleeding appears to have stopped, the time for prayer is short, it is not necessary for her to perform wudu and ghusl again. Rather, she can perform prayer with wudu and ghusl that she already has. Definitely this is with excessive istihada and medium istihada, not with little istihada. Issue number 418. Yes, any question? No question? When the bleeding of a woman with excessive istihada completely stops, this bleeding is what? Is completely stops. If she knows that from the time, by repeating this act repeated with her, if she knows that from the time she became engaged in performing ghusl for the previous prayer, there has not been any discharge of blood. That means after the last ghusl, when she engaged in her prayer, there is what? There is no discharge of blood. There is no bleeding. There is no blood at all. Okay? It is not necessary for her to perform ghusl again. She will account on that. She will account on that previous ghusl. Apart from this case, she must perform ghusl based on obligatory precaution. Apart from this case, she must perform ghusl based on obligatory precaution. If she wants to perform what? If she wants to perform ghusl, she must perform ghusl according to what? According to obligatory precaution, not as fatwa. As for a woman who has medium istihada, it is not necessary for her to perform ghusl if her istihada has completely stopped. Why? Because she has already one ghusl a day. If her medium istihada has completely stopped in a day, there is no need for what? There is no need for a new ghusl. There is no need for a new ghusl. Issue number 419. After a woman who has slight istihada performs wudu, she has what her state is, what is slight istihada. She performs wudu. It is her obligatory duty is to perform what? To perform wudu for each salah. After a woman who has slight istihada performs wudu, and after a woman who has medium istihada performs ghusl and wudu, and after a woman who has excessive istihada performs ghusl, she must immediately engage in her performing her obligatory prayer, not to delay the prayer. After she has her obligatory duty, she has to perform what? She has to perform her salah, for which the time is due, except in the two cases that were mentioned in ruling 403 and 415, that she knows that her istihada will be finished and she has time. Okay? However, there is no problem if she says adhan and iqamah. You know, it is recommended that before the salah, a musalli should say the adhan and iqamah. We mentioned that before. If the musalli said the adhan and then said the iqamah, two lines of angels between the east and the west, they will pray behind him, and they will say Amin after his supplications. إذا المصلي أقام أذن وأقام قبل صلاته، هنالك صفين من الملائكة بين المشرق والمغرب، هذا عددهم، بين المشرق والمغرب، يصلون بعده ويؤمنون على دعائه. أكو شيء نعمل؟ ها؟ إذا بس هذا أذان وإقامة، إذا فقط أقامة فقط شنو؟ صف واحد. لذلك تشوفون that means let me explain this in English. If the musalli recite the adhan first and iqamah before his prayers, there is two lines of angels between the east and the west. They will pray behind him and they will say Ameen after his supplications. So definitely all his supplications will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if these angels will say Ameen after his supplication. So this is a good opportunity to have such khayrat, such blessings, without doing only recite adhan and iqama ya muslimin. ما مسوين شيء. Anyhow, after a woman who has slight istihada performs wudu, and after a woman who has medium istihada performs ghusl and wudu in a day, one ghusl, and after a woman who has excessive istihada performs ghusl, she must immediately engage in performing her obligatory prayer, for which the time is due, except in the two cases that were mentioned in ruling 403 and 415. However, there is no problem if she says adhan and iqamah before prayer, and when she is performing prayer, she can also perform recommended acts of the prayer, such qunut, but this is when she has time, that all her salah will be in time. If part of her salah will be out time, she has to what? She has to omit the recommended acts, just like adhan, just like iqamah, just like qunut. If she has time that all her acts of prayer will be in time, that means she can perform the recommended acts. Is this understood? Any question? No question? Good. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Issue number 420. A mustahada woman should pray after wudu or ghusl. As we know, after wudu, if she is what? If she is medium or little istihada. After ghusl, if she is excessive istihada. Generally, as an obligatory precaution, with no time gap between wudu or ghusl and her prayer, without gap time, not to perform wudu or ghusl and to go to make dinner for her husband, or to answer the phone, or to play with the phone, or something like that, or to talk to somebody. No, she has to perform her salah immediately. There is no gap time between wudu or ghusl and her prayer. If she didn't act accordingly, what she did, for example, if she has performed her salah, if she has performed her ghusl or wudu, and she sit for some issue, for some business, she delays her salah, she would make wudu or ghusl again and then pray without any delay. Do you understand the hukum? You understand it, my daughters? Are you going to act accordingly or not? You have to. غصباً ما عليكم. Yes, you have to, because this is your salah. I'm not going to be accounted or to be judged about your salah. You understand me? أي بنقول غصباً ما عليكم صلاتكم شو اللي علاقة. This is your prayers, not my prayers. Issue number 421. If the blood of istihada has a swift flow, swift, not bleeding, and does not stop, but it is what? It is continuous. And if stoppage of blood is not harmful to her, What does it mean, stoppage? That means she has to stop the blood. How? By inserting some cotton in the private parts to stop if there is no what? If there is no harmness, if there is no affection, okay, she can stop the bleeding only during what? The prayer time. She has to do it. She has to stop the bleeding. Look, if the blood of istihada has a swift flow and does not stop, and if stoppage of blood is not harmful to her, she should, look, this is a verdict, she should try to prevent the blood from coming out. From where? From when she has to stop the blood? She has to stop the blood from the commencement of the ghusl, from the beginning of the ghusl, not from the beginning of salah, from the beginning of ghusl till the end of a prayer as an obligatory precaution. You have this. هذا التجديد موجود عندكم، هذا التحديث موجود عندكم اللي قرأته. From the commencement of ghusl till the end of prayer as an obligatory precaution. موجود عندكم؟ موجود عندكم. Good. قدامك 3 stars. ما موجود؟ لا كتبوه هذا تحديث. راح أقرأ لكم العبارة المسألة. If the blood of istihada has a swift flow and does not stop, and if stoppage of blood is not harmful to her, she should try to prevent the blood from coming out. لحد هنا عندكم. لحد هنا موجود عندكم، أوكي؟ اللي ما موجود عندكم. From the commencement ما موجودة مو؟ أما قلت لكم أني أكو I did change it from the web of سيد السيستاني لأنه ظاهران من كتبنا البيت السيد السيستاني بدأوا يغيرون بالترجمة وبدأوا يحدثون. فذكروني today I have to send it on Telegram to you in order to write it on your books.
هو نفس المعنى يعني بس الكلمات تختلف.
اي مو نفس المعنى والكلمات تختلف. اكو فد قضيه ضافها السيد السيستاني لازم تكتبوها. So when this woman she has to stop if stoppage of blood is not hurting her, when should start stopping the bleeding? From the beginning of what? Of her ghusl. From the beginning of her ghusl. And when it will end or when it shouldn't stop, that will be till the end of the salah. Till the end of the salah. From the commencement of ghusl till the end of a prayer as an obligatory precaution. And if she ignores doing so, that means if she does not stopping the blood, and by the way, stopping the blood is not hurting her, but she is careless. She is careless and she doesn't care about this. And if she ignores doing so and the blood comes out, she should offer prayer all over again. You understand this? She should offer prayer all over again if she had already prayed. Moreover, it is better that she repeats the ghusl. It is better. It is better recommended. هذا التحديث. Better means recommended. But you have to write these in use words or sentences. Okay. Issue number 422. If blood does not stop at the time of ghusl, the bath is in order while she performs ghusl. While, yes.
الاستحاضة in issue 421.
421, yes.
Every woman on istihadah has to get in some medicine or tablets, or just
She has to get what?
medicine or tablets, something stop the istihadah, had to.
No, the problem is with the woman. This issue is with the woman who can stop the bleeding without hurting her. She has to do this.
To get medicine or something.
No, not medicine. To insert some cotton. To insert some cotton. No, the medicine is something that the medicine will cut the bleeding. No. We are talking about the woman who has a bleeding already, and she can stop the bleeding by inserting some cotton inside her private part without hurting herself. So issue 422, if blood does not stop at the time of ghusl, the bath is in order. The bath is in order, but if during the ghusl the medium istihada becomes excessive while she is having what? The bath, her istihada developed from medium istihada to what? To excessive istihada. Becomes excessive, it will be necessary for her to restart ghusl all over again. Why? Because as we said, this is a worship act, and a worship act needs what? Needs intention. Worship acts needs intention. Her first niyyah, her first intention was about what? Ghusl about what? Medium istihada. And now what is her state? Excessive istihada. And excessive istihada needs what? Needs ghusl for each prayer. Have you got that?
Yes.
So she has to renew her ghusl with the new intention that this ghusl for the excessive istihada, this ghusl for this salah. Is this understood?
Yes.
Great. Issue number 423. If a mustahada woman who is fasting, this woman is fasting and she becomes mustahada, it is a recommended precaution that this is recommended. This is recommended precaution. What does it mean, recommended precaution? What does it mean, recommended precaution? Yes. Ala? Zaman, yes.
We can act according on this precaution only.
If we act according to it.
What?
If we act according to the recommended precaution,
We should.
we will have the blessings. We will have the blessings. We will be rewarded. If we are not acting according to the recommended precaution, we are not going to be punished. This is what I want you. A full answer. Thank you, my daughter. So, for a mustahada woman who is fasting, it is recommended precaution that she prevents the blood from issuing out of the body. You see? Throughout the day as far as possible. She has to do that by putting pad, by putting cotton, by putting some clothes. It's up to her. But the most important thing, if she can to prevent the blood from reaching or issuing out of the body. That's all for this lesson. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum ala